So, hello, namaste, namaskar, good afternoon, good morning, or maybe even good evening, in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak R. Khemani, and I am one of the co-founders of Bloom, along with another one of my co-founder, Abhijit Sansgiri, who is just logging in. He's on the road actually in Delhi. It takes me great pleasure to invite and welcome all of you on this 233rd non-stop Sunday Bloom Talk Show. Come rain or shine, online or offline, every Sunday for the past 233 weeks, we have been on air. We have been speaking with a person, a guest, who is helping us and the world change their lives just by doing their little bit what they can. We've had people from all the continents in the world who have graced our platform, including Antarctica. Yes, a person who has visited Antarctica twice has been a guest on our platform. Teachers, coaches, nurses, speakers, healers, athletes, doctors, you name it, and they have graced our platform. Continuing that tradition today, we have a very special guest with us. We have Bijal Chandaria, who has been referred to us by our very own Brigadier Basin. Today, we will be talking about how to discover your child's hidden potential. I'll read out a few words about Bijal, and then I will also ask her to tell us a little bit more about what she does, why she started doing this, and what does she hope to accomplish. She is an experienced early childhood educator with over 28 years experience in the field. In 2004, she founded PAC Preschools, daycare, and multiple intelligence activity centers with the vision of unveiling each child's hidden potential. A team of 100 plus professionals working towards providing quality education. Through her journey, she has empowered over 10,000 children and individuals. Wow. Beyond her professional work, she is an avid trekker, marathoner, foodie. How does marathoner and foodie match? We will ask her, and an adventurous traveler. Welcome to the show, Bijal.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Why do you do? How did you start? And what are you hoping to accomplish?
Yes. First of all, I'm truly thankful and grateful to Brigadier Sushil Basin for introducing me to Bloom. And I'm really feeling humbled to be a part of this wonderful platform, which is globally recognized. So thank you, Abhijit sir, and thank you, Deepak sir, for having me here. So my name is Bijal Chandaria. I reside in Mumbai, in Mulund, for the last 25 years. And I've been an early childhood educator for the last 28 years. That is since 1997. I've been working consistently, non-stop, without any break. Even COVID couldn't stop us. We made impossible happen possible during COVID. So we not only strived, we thrived during COVID. And thanks to my wonderful team who really worked very hard, and we made it like really a memorable experience during COVID.
Good. Great
Let
to
me
hear.
bring in Abhijit. Abhijit, go ahead.
So one is Deepak. We've had physical shows, but we never had a trek. So we can organize a trek. I think with her, that's what we can do.
100%. I would love to.
And basically, the question I know Deepak will ask it, but somewhere around the line, I'll also ask how the fitness and the adventure and the trek and the food goes together. So that's something. Even I'm a foodie. I'm a trekker. Now, one is
Wow.
our core subject is potential. So,
Yeah.
what exactly do you mean by potential? And when we say our purpose of life is to achieve our fullest and truest potential to maybe serve humanity, that's the ideal purpose. So, what is our potential, and have we really achieved our potential, and how do we achieve it?
So first of all, a potential is a very, very wide meaning to it. But according to me, each and every individual, each and every child is born with specific abilities, which is they are naturally inherited, or it is naturally there in the genes. So we as parents and educators and whoever is serving the child, it's very important to find out what is the hidden potential. And it's very, very critical to find the hidden potential at the early age, as early as possible, because in the foundation years, we have to sow the seeds of that. And later on, as and when they are growing, by the age of 14 years, say 10 to 14 years, is the right time to zero down on the potential which the child is born with.
So something in our own group and who's attending is we have Harish Mehta ji, who talks of abundance, and he talks of a growth mindset and of the fact that everybody is born with abundance, and
Correct.
we can really do something what we set our mind upon. So if we really, if there is a will, there is a way. So one is, are you saying that our potential is limitless and we can do whatever we can, or maybe we have certain skills and abilities with a natural flair and we should only pursue that? So there's something called the strength finders test. So
Correct.
how do you actually go about finding the true potential? And again, maybe it's not just for a child. I agree. For a child, it's obviously great because he has a great head start. But even for people like us, when they say it's never too late to start, so how would people like us on the right side of 50 also discover our true potential? Because everyone is somewhere left with the feeling that he's not achieved his true potential. So how does one do that?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the scientist named Howard Gardner. He's an American scientist. He has discovered this theory known as multiple intelligence.
Yeah.
So multiple intelligence concept, we have been following since last more than 20 years. And we've done a lot of trial and error. We have done a lot of research, and we've been heavily working with that since then. And we have seen amazing transformation happening in children. So according to the scientist, he believes that each and every child has got some potential. We as parents and teachers have to help the child discover what are they naturally good at. So just imagine the child's brain. We are born, you and me, everyone is born with 8 different areas in the child's, in our own brain. And each area he has given the name as intelligence. So 8 different parts of the brain are named as 8 different intelligences. So out of this 8, we cannot be great in everything and we cannot be weak in everything. So there is some potential which is naturally there in us. We have to help the children and individuals find out what are they born with. So we don't have any aptitude test, obviously, but we have one theory, this multiple intelligence. We have a hexagon shape or diagram where there are different intelligences. I would like to name some of them. So the first one is naturalist intelligence. Naturalist means anything related to nature. So we have the trekkers, we have environmentologists, who are having this intelligence dominant in them. So the child, once we find out that what is the child good at, according to that, we can give the direction to the child in future. So it's very, very important to find out what is the hidden potential, say, by the age of 10 and 12 years, maximum 14 years, once we zero down, out of the 8 intelligence, 2 are naturally dominant. So with the help of this hexagon, with consistent amount of exposure, giving them a learning environment, giving them the stimulation in the brain, with the help of a curriculum, with the help of a teaching methodologies, we can find out what is the hidden potential in each child and each individual. But for each individual, it is like, we don't have, for adults, obviously, we don't even have any test. But yes, of course, we can do a reflection on our own self and find out, by analyzing where do we stand and what do we like, what do we don't like, what we can do naturally and what we cannot do, what activity gives us stress and which activity gives us happiness. This is the way we can find it out. So the first one I told is naturalis intelligence. Then the another is kinesthetic intelligence. Kinesthetic means it is like where the full body is involved from head to toe. So all our sports personalities, there are so many sports personalities across the globe. So they are kinesthetic intelligence is very high. That is the reason today where they are. Example is Sachin Tendulkar, Sania, Sania Gehwal. There are so many such individuals who has picked up, their potential at a very early stage, and they have made it, very, very big, just by not faltering here and there. Because in today's time, there is so much available in the world, there is so much available in the market. So it's very, confusing for the child as well as for the parents, what to do and what not to do. So then the next intelligence we have is logical intelligence. That is anything related to logic, anything related in a layman's language, we say, where we have to use our own brains. So we have all our scientists, all our, engineers, mathematicians. They are all having, their logical intelligence is very, very high. Then the next intelligence is spatial intelligence. Spatial means it's SPATIAL. It means anything related to art, anything related to, pictures, colors, visualization. All of this is spatial intelligence. So the professions, related to spatial intelligence are interior designers, graphic designers, we have architects, we have artists. All of those, they go under spatial intelligence. Then the next we have is linguistic intelligence. Linguistic means anything related to languages. So we have, a greatest example as Arundhati Roy, who has, really flared up in her profession. So to children who are having high linguistic intelligence, there is a lot of scope in future what they can become. But it's very, very critical for us to find out the right intelligence. Then the next intelligence is musical intelligence, anything related to music. So here what happens is, the name itself speaks, children, those who are naturally good in music. And we have our classic personalities like A.R. Rahman, Lata Mangeshkar, who are naturally, having musical intelligence very, very high. And that is the reason they have made it so big. The next important intelligence is interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal means anything related to social development, how well you are getting adjusted with the society, how well you are being able to make friends, and how you are having emotional quotient high in you. That will describe your interpersonal intelligence. The next important intelligence, the last but not the least, is intrapersonal intelligence. And according to me, that is the most important and the critical intelligence, because that is related to self-development. That is related to self-development, intrapersonal intelligence. So we have our politicians, we have so many personalities, who having, we have our healers, we have our counselors, whose intrapersonal intelligence is very high. And this is how, we form up the 8 intelligences in the human brain.
Yeah, thanks. So just can you distinguish between your interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence?
Absolutely. So interpersonal is anything related to social development, social interactions.
Yeah.
And intrapersonal is self-development. The moment you are having a challenge, how well a person can deal with it.
So it's as I understand, interpersonal is with others and intrapersonal is with self.
Yeah, intrapersonal is self-smart.
Fine, perfect.
And interpersonal is person smart.
With other. Yeah, fine. So perfect. Now, do schools, so when we were educated, it was only on my school, simple, the 3 R's, the reading, writing, arithmetic, on which we are very strong at. And maybe in our times, the only possible outcome was take science, be an engineer,
and maybe go to US for scholarship. Unfortunately, I did an aptitude test, which you said it's not about aptitude test, but I'm a victim of that. And they told me I'm excellent at commerce and I know only that, and you're not fit for science. And that's me in commerce and through a herd mentality as a chartered accountant. And then that's it. And nothing was told to my brother, or he was told something that he's not good for something, but he was adamant to choose what he was told he's not good at. And that's where life takes you. Simple. So
Yeah.
I believe that what you do is something very great. And how do we integrate that and get it in almost all the schools? So what can be done about it? Maybe the new education policy, I really don't know what it does, but if you could throw some light on
we
that.
are quite aligned with the new education policy, because what happens nowadays, and since obviously so many decades, the school predominantly they focus only on academics.
Yeah.
But other than academics, also there are so many different areas which the child needs to explore, which unfortunately the education system fails big time.
Yeah.
So the schools need to adapt, a curriculum which is integrated, and we are having different kind of exposures. Like there has to be music compulsory, there has to be nature related activities compulsorily, sports compulsorily. And what happens nowadays, the schools are having these kind of activities, but it is just for the namesake. They are not doing it as focused as they are doing the academic part, because academics is the biggest priority of each school. But other than sports, this should go hand in hand, because if it is complementing each other, then the child will get the opportunity to explore this to the maximum, and the child will be able to find out for himself or herself that what are they born for, what is the purpose of their life, what is their true hidden potential.
Okay. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Abhijit.
Go ahead. Yeah. So I thought you were saying something. Sorry. So if you understand Marathi, there is a saying which goes as "Mulache pai palnyat distat." So do you understand what I said?
Not exactly. Can you explain me?
Yeah. So "Mulache pai palnyat distat" means it's in the cradle itself that you can really spot what the child is good at. So
Right.
that's literally translated. So I really don't know
Okay.
how that can happen. But
Right.
what is the earliest age that one can really find somebody's potential? So I would just give another
yeah.
example. My
Yeah.
son who was just when he was just 2 years old, he used to just crawl to the kitchen and just basically take out the pressure cooker and remove all the parts and just make everything which was there. And then again, when you see what he has done, so he just used to nod and again put it back again. So we with our limited knowledge at that time, we felt he was very good at those mechanics of doing those things, and he's good at engineering, and that's where we put it. Now that's us at a very elementary level, but is that what at that age can you spot something unless they really show some flair? Or then how would you actually do it? So maybe you would have various tests, but how early should we expose? You said about 10 or 12, but I believe in US it's even earlier that they spot the talent.
Yeah. So there are chances of earlier spotting, but what happens in the foundation years, that is right from when the child is conceived in the mother's womb up till the age of 7 years, the child's brain continues to develop in a very high speed. So this age is called the exploration age, right from the conception till the age of 7 years, So whatever the child is getting exposed to in this early years, it goes into their permanent memory. And this is how their brain development happens, because with each stimulation, there are a lot of neuron pathways getting built up in the brain. So what happens is children's stimulation is happening through the help of their 5 senses. They see, they hear, they smell, they taste, they touch. With each stimulation, there is a neuron pathway getting built up, So every second, the child is learning constantly. So what is happening? This is the age of exploration. At this stage, the parents or, the grandparents, the teachers, who are, on routine basis attending the child, have to give that kind of a atmosphere, that kind of a ambience, where the stimulation, where the exploration possibilities are very high. They can explore to the maximum. And later on, when the children are, say, around 6, 7, and 8 years, that time we can cut short. Means out of the 8 intelligence, we will be at least be able to figure out 4, and we can, minus 4 and keep going ahead with the 4 intelligences. Again, let the child explore for some time, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. It is subjective. It is, depending on the individual, how much the child and the parent needs to observe and figure out. And once the child is, say, 8 plus, 10 plus, 11 plus, is the time where the child will be very obviously be able to say, yes, I like, XYZ thing, and I would like to go ahead with that. So once we find out what are the 2 dominant intelligence in the child, keeping that as a base, parents can select, in long future, their subjects in school, the activities which they want to pursue, and after 10th, which grade they, which stream they want to go for. After that, which profession they want to get into it. It will all depend on that 2 dominant intelligence which we have figured out. It's that
Sure.
way.
So the key is to find out the 2 amongst the 8 which you have told, and then we
Absolutely.
pursue it. Now you
Correct.
spoke of one thing in this answer, was something of even what happens in the mother's womb is something. So I can closely relate. So there's something which we call as the Garbh Sanskar, or
Absolutely.
in way back when you go to Mahabharata, I think when Krishna was teaching that art of warfare
Yeah.
to I think Abhimanyu's mother. I think he'd gone up to certain point of time, and then he heard some nod coming out from his womb. That's where he came to know that, okay, this is where the child has learned a lot of things, and he cut short. So that's what the history says, that he could go up to a certain point, but because he didn't know how to come out, which was not told to him, or what he had not learned, is what led to his downfall. But taking that to the actual practical level, does this really happen? So Joe, womb may, if the mother is talking to the child or something, is that the earliest where you can actually train him for his potential? And is there any
Yes.
scientific
Yes.
proof for that?
So we don't have any scientific proof, but of course these, parents, I mean the mothers, those who have really done this, in her prenatal time, during their pregnancy, they will be able to see, the outcome when the child is growing up. So during the time of pregnancy, when the child is, the child can hear, the child can see, even whatever the mother is feeling, the child can obviously feel it. So this is, I think, even the science has been saying that. And that is the reason we have to be very cautious and conscious that, what kind of exposure, what kind of ambience we are giving to the child, to the mother, to the child, likewise.
Fine, thanks. So when you talk of prodigies, so there is somebody who can recite something, or somebody who's, maybe we had in a school, we remember Shakuntala Devi, who used to be a maths wizard. There are a lot of chess prodigies. There are
Yeah.
these guys who shine at a very early age, who are just born with some natural talent. Now,
Yes.
what exactly is the difference between them and the ordinary mortals?
Exactly. So when the children are spotted very, very early, so the parent has very evidently found out, okay, the child can do this well, and they have continuously given that energy and that kind of effort, giving that child that exposure, which has really, shown the great results in children.
So in I believe in the erstwhile USSR, there was a regime where they used to really spot young talent, especially in sports,
Yeah.
and then groom them. Do we
Yeah.
have something similar in India, or can we do something about it?
Specifically in India, we are not having that much of light on this. And specifically, if I talk about Mumbai, the schools are more interested only in academics. Sports is there in very handful of schools which are focusing on sports, but music exposure is not much. Even other activities like, chess is not given much of a highlight. It is only academics which is highlighted all the time, and even parents are in that rat race that, चेस करके क्या करेगा डांस करके क्या करेगा उसमें थोड़ी पैसा बनता है सो यू बेटर फोकस ऑन एकेडमिक्स बिकॉज तुझे तो इंजीनियरिंग में ही पैसा बनेगा सीए बनेगा तो ही पैसा बनेगा सो दीज आर ऑल मिथ्स बट
Yeah, I agree.
nowadays yeah so I think Sachin Tendulkar is a classic example where he has broken this myth where everybody knows that he is hardly educated but he is called the god of cricket so why and how he has reached up to that level so
So yeah, fine. I think yes, you need to. That's where you need to encourage these kids, find out their potential. Now, let's assume maybe the parents maybe the top tier metro cities, and not all of them. Some of them may be really aware and they may be doing it. Otherwise, how does one approach professionals like you who could guide them? So, do you have something of an individual consultancy where I can get a child of say 8 years or 10 years to you, and you could maybe help find out the
yeah
true potential, and how big, or so can you tell me the process in which, let's say, if we get somebody, how could that be done?
So if at all, you are bringing a child, of 8 to 10 years or whatever the age group is,
Yes.
at least, the bigger ones, so then we can, I do have a system, 3 months of analysis, which I'm giving the session once in a week to the parent and the child, where the parent and the child comes together. And after discussing, after counseling the child, I can help the parents and, children to find out at least where the child's interest lies but it's a process here it is not only I am who's going to analyze it is up to the parent and the child also to put that extra efforts because see
Yeah.
if I will say xyz this looks dominant in you but what about the other areas which has got unexplored so the
Yes,
child
I
and the parent will have to explore those unexplored areas.
agree. So I believe that the parents also need equal training more than the child, and even the
Absolutely.
teachers in school. So do you have some programs or some awareness sessions where they could get together and do something for the bigger good?
Yeah, so we have a 3 hours of program, the like 1 day session where I can guide the teachers and the parents that in detail I can take them with this 8 multiple intelligence theory and I can explain them that what all exposures you need to give, how to give, where to give, so that it will be possible for them to do it.
Fine, great. So
I can give them practical tips, basically.
so I think let's collaborate. I think if you could share those details with us anytime, I think
Sure.
we would also encourage a lot of. I believe it's parents first, the teachers also who need to come together, because I believe there is a lot of misconception or no sensitivity or no awareness, and if a
Right.
child, so as latest as that picture Three Idiots, we've seen people who
Yeah.
had certain flares, that Madhavan, who was interested in photography, was not given or something, which is very common. So and again and one classic case is when uh, we had a function and we had invited a cricketer as a chief guest. I think he went publicly saying not just once, thrice, that don't neglect your studies. You follow your passion, but studies is equally important. So if you don't make it in sports or any other like a music or where you get frustrated and you might just lose everything and lose all hope, faith. I think just study. So how do you? My last question is, how do you maintain the balance between the potential? So something like an ikigai, there is a demand, you are good at it, you love it, but it's not the tried and tested engineering, CA, medical, or whatever, where there's no fixed bread and butter. So how does one balance that to go ahead?
So, Three Idiots movie is very well, very, very well they have stated that whatever you are doing, you should love it, you should enjoy it. If you
Yeah.
can, pursue that, then nothing can stop you. Because we have famous photographers also who've made it very big. We have sportsmen who have made it very big. We have even, so many personalities, non-academic, who have made it very big, So, of
Yeah.
course, there are famous engineers, there are famous mathematicians, but again, the same thing, we have to find out what is the hidden potential. That's very, very critical. Even say education is important. Of course, I'm not biased against education because even we are educationists, we are giving education to children, but we are giving it an absolute playboy method because they are into their preschool years, but we have to find the fine balance, between both. We cannot neglect either of it, Academics is important as well as the activities are important, and both, if done in a balanced way, it goes complementing each other, and it really helps the child to transform in an absolutely exceptional and a beautiful way.
Yes, I agree. As I say, I'm a practicing chartered accountant, but I love speaking. So this is what I do in my uh, not free time earlier. Now it's becoming more and more. So it's occupying almost 50% of the time. So one is uh, the balance that first you go in a line, earn some decent money to cover your necessities and wants, and then follow your passion, which is what even me, my wife, and that's what we tell our kids also to do. Take some safety cushion. Just don't go blind in the area of your passion, where maybe the chances of earning and surviving would be difficult. So yes, I think one needs to find the right balance and the right encouragement. So the last question,
Yeah.
I think Deepak would definitely take it, but how do you manage your passion for being a foodie and staying fit? So how is the
So,
lifestyle managed? I would like to know more about that, because that's the tough part for me.
right. It's all about discipline, consistency, and you just have to show up for your fitness every day, every single day.
Yes, I agree. I
I'll
agree.
give you I would love to share my example. Say I started trekking in the year to 2012. 2012, I started trekking. First time ever in my life, I went for a trek, and I realized, oh my God, this is something so wonderful. And then I continued. And I told my parents that, अरे मुझे पहले क्यों नहीं लेके गए आप लोग ट्रैक पे? Why didn't you ever send me before? अगर मुझे पहले ही एक्सपोजर मिला होता during my college days or maybe during my school days, then 100% I would have at least done Mount Everest हो चुका होता अब तक
Base
मेरा.
camp. Yeah, yeah.
नहीं, not base camp तो यार कोई भी कर लेता है अभी आजकल.
हमारे लिए base camp है, but fine. Yeah. But next is, since you said in Mulund, are you aware that there is a Mulund Hills trek?
That becomes my first home actually.
Oh, fine. So that's where I
Yeah.
think somewhere in Bloom we should organize a trek to that, because somebody
Yeah.
told me there's a Ghatkopar Hills and a trek there, which for me it was just amazing to know that in the city, which is full of I think all concrete jungle. I think there is
Yeah.
still a place where there are mountains and hills where you can actually trek, and it's quite a tough trek for a beginner with not the right
Right.
kind of shoes and the
Yeah.
training. So fine,
Yeah.
thanks for a great discussion. I think I would love to have that 8 personal skills on the chat or somewhere, so we could share with a lot more people. And
Sure.
Deepak, you can take over.
Thank you, Abhijit, for joining in on the fly, on the go. In Delhi, he's attending some sort of an exhibition and he's logged in, walking and talking and even asking questions. So thank you for doing that. Let me, ask 2 or 3 questions to Bijal, which I'm sure she gets a lot, and I would love to know the answer to these questions. One, Why
Yes.
has education become so costly? Especially the early years. People are spending 2 to 3 lakh rupees a year for a 2-year-old toddler, to go to school or something called play school. Why is education becoming so costly?
See, first of all, the cost of each and everything has gone very high. That is one. Second, the teachers, before they were not paid well. And nowadays, teachers are paid really well compared to before. I remember when I started in 1998, that was my first job I did. I was paid only 2,500, as a preschool teacher in Hiranandani Foundation School, Pavai. But in
Yes.
today's time, things are very different. Nobody will accept, even an intern is not going to accept 2,500, So mainly we need to pay the staff, we need to pay the teachers well, the cost of the material, and plus, of course, the property. The property cost has gone so high. The rentals are killing the preschools. I cannot hear you. Sir, you're not audible. Sir, you're not audible. Deepak, sir, you're not audible.
How about now? Yeah.
Now you're okay.
Wonderful. So, how does somebody who is probably, relatively poor or middle class and, wants to send their child to one of these top schools, how do they manage to give quality education to their children?
Right. So I'll tell you, they will have to explore, because there are so many different kind of preschools with all different fee structures available. So they will have to just go explore and, frankly, there are some parents who are not, they cannot afford much. But of course, we also do consider for such parents.
Wonderful, and I always share my example with everyone. When we were in 10th standard, our fee was 10 rupees a month, 10 rupees a month. And my dad used to say, ये लो 120 रुपया पूरे 12 महीने का एक बार भर के आओ. And my
Yeah.
child, 16, 17 years ago, he's now 17. When he went to play school for the first play school when he was 2 years old, we paid 2 lakh rupees. Like, ये क्या चल
Oh,
रहा
really?
है?
So you are talking 2 lakhs. This was almost
14
16
years
years
ago,
back.
14 years ago, yes,
14
yes.
years ago. Oh, that is too high.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
don't
when you
have
want
such
to go
big.
to a celebrity school, then this is what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, a lot of people, parents especially in the West, and this trend is also catching up now. A lot of people, because of all these things, are saying, I would like to homeschool my child.
Yes.
Your views on homeschooling?
Yeah. So homeschooling is something absolutely wonderful. And there are quite many parents who are opting for homeschooling, because there are a lot of drawbacks, even in the most famous schools, the celebrity schools, all kind of schools, big, small, medium, whichever you say, there are problems. You won't find a single school who is like on 90% or 99%. It's not possible. All
Yeah.
the schools are averagely doing well by 70, 75%.
Yes.
So parents feel that, when we are paying so high and we
Yeah.
are not getting the real outcome,
Yeah.
and, the school is going too slow, and my child has got much more higher potential.
Yeah.
And plus the schools, in the school, the children will be learning things which are not required,
Yeah.
because we have children from all different backgrounds. So the peer pressure, getting into the wrong habits, learning something which is not good, which is something negative, not
Yeah.
helping in the child's growth and progress. So
Yes.
then homeschooling is wonderful. But yes, homeschooling, the parents will have to put their lot more extra effort
Yeah.
to make, academics possible for the children.
Yeah. Again, homeschooling comes without any syllabus, comes without any structure. Basically, it's the parents who are, just throwing and uploading their, life experiences onto their child.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a lot of what they may have learned may or not be relevant to that particular
yeah,
child.
yeah,
So clearly every system has its pros and cons, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
So now let me take you back to something which we had in our ancient times, the Gurukul
Yeah,
system. Again,
right.
that has also got lost. So
Yeah.
I also hear that, at some level, this is also coming back. People are wanting their children to go and learn ancient texts, ancient scientists, ancient rishi sort of, structures. And is that happening? Do you come across this? And your views, how does that work?
So, we have MI activities, multiple intelligence activities for children in our school. And this we have been running for the last so many years, since 2004. And we have Sanskrit as a subject, as an
Hmm.
activity. And trust me, out of the 10 to 12 activities which we are offering, the most rocking, the most outstanding is Sanskrit.
Wow.
Although parents, they literally come and say that अरे ये तो कुछ इतना खास important नहीं है, इतना famous
Exactly.
नहीं है, इतना demanding नहीं है, तो आपने क्यों संस्कृत रखा है?
Yeah.
I said Sanskrit is a mother language. It
Yes.
opened doorways to learn international languages also.
Yes.
So uh, we have been, encouraging Sanskrit language a lot.
Yeah.
And we have seen children doing outstanding work, and not only in Sanskrit, but the children, those who get the exposure of Sanskrit in the foundation years, they are going to excel very well in future,
Hmm.
because their linguistic development, their brain development, their linguistic intelligence all goes very, very high.
Hmm.
They become more confident individuals,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
mother of all languages, everything that was there in existence a few hundred or maybe even 1,000 years ago is now actually becoming relevant again. The ancient
absolutely.
wisdom from our ancient texts and, the language, the storytelling, and everything is now actually becoming more and more relevant.
Yeah, yeah,
The other thing which I want to ask you is this, when we were children, there was only one SSE option. There was nothing
yes,
else. Now
yeah,
there is SSE and CBSE and ICSE and Oxford and this and that, and everybody wants their children to go to international schools. So
absolutely.
your views on all of these different, these silos. And in the end, I remember, when my children came out of school into 10th standard and then went into college, whether you were from SSE or ICSE or CBSE or anywhere, in the end, when you went to 11th standard, all of them converged at the same place. So
Absolutely.
tell us the advantages and disadvantages of this system.
So first of all, we have SSC medium, we have ICSE, we have
CBSE.
CBSE, we have IGCSE, and we have IB.
Yes.
So these are the 5 boards which exist in India.
Yes.
So out of these 5, all are good and all have their pros and cons.
Yes.
Even SSC is good. We are the outcomes of SSC only.
Exactly. We did pretty well after coming out from
We
SSE.
are doing very well.
Yes. Yes.
So I believe, as an educator, I've done a deep research on this, because before an educator, I've been a parent also.
Hmm.
So I have done a lot of research on this. SSC, we know how does it work, because we are the outcome of that.
Yes.
ICSE, I had put my son, so I know how ICSE works, at what level. All boards are absolutely doing fantastic. I'm telling you, sir. But according to me, this is what I chose for my son. But why did I chose for my son is IB? He has done his IBDP because he's extremely creative. He is like, and as I told you, the 8 intelligence which I explained you, first all the trial and error, everything is done on him, and thousands of children in Mulund, of course.
Okay.
So I know what is the outcome. So I've done a lot of things on him, and I could figure out that this child's spatial intelligence is very, very high. He is extremely creative boy, and I'll have to choose the school accordingly. If I put him in ICSE, it is going to restrict him. CBSE is a big no for him, because he doesn't have that engineering or a mathematician mind. He's not going to get into that, because this, as a mother, I could figure out very, very early. in the first part when we were discussing with Abhijit sir, that
Yes.
the same thing. Then
Yeah.
comes IGCSE. So again, IGCSE, I was not very keen because that is an extended version of ICSE. It has got questions where the children have to really think, and kaun banega karodpati type of questions.
Yes.
This is the question, and these are the 3-4 options. Now you have to
Yes.
select, and you have to put your brain and accordingly select the answer.
Yeah.
Then comes IB. IB was like, where the real creativity lies is in
Yeah.
IB. But
Yeah.
IB is the biggest drawback. We have to keep our pockets wide open.
Yeah, you pay and smile, everything comes at a price,
You
everything
have to
comes
close
at a
your
cost.
eyes. Jitna chahiye, lete jao, lete jao, lete jao. It's that way.
Yeah, but then what happens is in the end, only privileged kids end up, using that or being a part of
Yeah.
that particular stream
Yeah.
or that particular
Yeah.
branch of education.
Correct. Correct.
Let me bring you to something which for some reason a few years ago had become extremely popular, but I don't know whether everybody talks about this now or not. Midbrain activation.
Ah.
Tell us about midbrain activation and what it does. Does it really work? Does it make sense? Should your child go to these special classes and does it help?
See, midbrain, I think it is a brain stimulant activity, So it's a good activity. Absolutely, nothing is a waste. Whatever the child is getting to learn is always beneficial. It is always going to be beneficial. But they get into this fingerprint analysis.
Yes.
That is rubbish. Yes. Because I used to get so many offers from so many different biometric agencies.
Yes,
And they used to offer
dermatographics.
that, please,
Yes.
हम आपका free में करेंगे.
Yes.
ठीक है, करो, free में करना है, करो. Okay. So then, literally, I got 2-3 reports from 2-3 different agencies, and absolutely different.
All of them were
None
different.
of them were aligned. So then I thought, what is this?
Yeah.
My fingers have not changed.
Yes.
It's never going to change,
Yes. Yeah.
So then, whom do I believe? Isko believe karu, isko karu, kisko karu?
Yeah. It's like showing your Janam Patri to different astrologers and everybody giving a different view.
Yeah. But at least even this astrology has got some kind of sense of, calculations. But this is just a software, and it is not proven basically.
Yeah.
And me getting 3 different reports of my own, and that completely, got me into the disbelief that no, this doesn't work. And that is the reason, the concept which I told of multiple intelligence, that comes in the picture, because that is something where the child is naturally exploring on their own. The parent or the child, nobody's, enforcing on them, that way.
Yeah. I remember I had sent my son when he was, I think, 10 or 11, maybe 8, 9, 10 or 11 to this midbrain activation classes. And when he used to come out and at the end of the classes, blindfolded, he could, touch those cards and read the color or, recite all this text without even looking at it. It felt like, for want of a better word, magic. But then they also told us beyond a point, beyond a particular age, the child will completely lose this ability and it will simply go away. So for us, it was more about curiosity. Let us try and see what this is and how does it work or not. Yeah. The next thing I want to ask you is, and this is being debated, and we now have a new education policy, and I still feel a lot more needs to be done. We are preparing children for jobs 10, 15, 20 years later, which will not exist. The age of AI is here. Tell us your views. I mean, let's assume that the NEP in toto is implemented. Do you think we are doing enough to bring children up to updated levels where, a person walks out of college and he's either employable or he can start his own business or, he can do a startup? I don't think we are there, right?
We are absolutely nowhere there. We are not even touching that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. See, everything begins from the foundation years. And foundation years, unfortunately, there are so many myths around. They are taken very lightly. ABC 1, 2, 3 to sikhane ka hai. बाकी तो बच्चे को गैजेट दे दो, बच्चे को टीवी दे दो, आईपैड दे
Yeah.
दो. There's a status symbol, nowadays. I gifted my child iPad, but the parent doesn't understand the disaster which is happening with the
Yeah.
help of the iPad, with the help of the mobile.
Yeah.
So what happens is, in the early years, everything begins from early years, because I'm an early childhood educator. I will speak right from there. Then we will take it forward.
Yeah.
So what happens in the early years nowadays? There is just one or two kids in the family, and the entire attention is on that child.
Yes.
Mother, father, uncle, auntie, dada, dadi, driver, auntie, whoever, and this child feels so much, like the egos are inflated of these
Yes.
children,
Yes.
knowingly, unknowingly, consciously,
Yeah.
unconsciously. It
Yeah.
is happening.
Yeah.
And because of that, children are getting ego right from the early years,
Yeah.
अरे इसने मेरे को बुलाया नहीं, हाय नहीं बोला, अरे पापा he is not even looking at me, he is busy doing his work. So they already feel, offended with this kind of a situation. Hello. So this is one thing. Another important thing, children are getting too much of attention. Hello. Hello. Hello.
We are able to hear you.
Go ahead.
We are able to hear
Bijal,
you.
we can hear
Actually,
you.
your screen was
He
paused.
will join in. He will join in.
Okay. So, shall I continue?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what happens? We give a lot of attention to the kids, a lot of overprotectiveness, lot of things which we are directly giving them on their plate.
I think he is left. Give me a second. I'll just check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sir
sorry,
is
I got
joining.
locked out for some reason. Thank you, Payal. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you finished answering that question.
No,
Again,
let
my
me
next.
continue. Let me
Yes,
continue.
please,
1 minute.
please,
I've not yet completed.
Please.
So, children, they are getting so much of attention, so much of overprotectiveness,
Yeah.
and everything in the platter ready. If they are asking water, they are getting milk.
Yes.
एवरीथिंग ओके मैंने बहुत स्ट्रेस किया है मेरे लाइफ में, मैंने बहुत स्ट्रगल देखा है, बट मैं मेरे बच्चे को स्ट्रगल नहीं होने दूंगी या
बिल्कुल,
दूंगा, व्हाटएवर.
बिल्कुल.
बट यू ऑल आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, द पेरेंट्स आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि तुम उनको निकम्मा बना रहे हो.
हाँ.
They are not getting resilient, they are not
Yes.
getting that efficiency.
Yeah.
So because of this, children are getting into a comfort zone. The real development happening, the real creative thinking, the
Yes.
critical thinking,
Yeah.
the rational brain development is not happening.
Yeah.
And because of these all lags, the children's real potential is not coming out. And that is the reason, everybody is getting into only a job kind of a status.
Yeah. I remember when we were children, we had grandparents, luckily, and we had parents who had time to sit with us and tell stories. There was no television. I remember my dad used to come
Yes.
home at 5:30, 6 o'clock. He used to open up a book and read out, spiritual stories and stories about his times. And that's how we grew
Yeah.
up. Our
Right.
only source of general knowledge in those days, in addition to what books we got from SSE, was Bonvita Book of Knowledge. I had all the volumes of that book of knowledge, and still today I tell my children, my general knowledge is because I used to read books. I used to read Amar Chitra Katha, and I used to read those
Yeah.
comics which were available to
Right.
us when we were children.
Right.
Nowadays you have everything on your iPad or on your mobile.
Yeah. And
So-
because of that, children are not putting efforts. Children are
Yes.
getting a lot of comfort zone,
Yeah.
and it is, making children depressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, I remember recently when my child was going through school, and they used to get all these homeworks and activities to do. And in the end, when the PTA used to happen, we used to always complain to the principal, you are giving 5-year, 6-year-old activities, you know they will not be able to do. In the end, it's the
Exactly.
parents who are preparing and then presenting it in front of. What is going on here? Kya chal raha hai?
Exactly. Again, I'm coming to the same point, what you said rightly. XYZ project is given to the child. Let the child do. You can give a bit of guidance. You can give the required material.
Yes.
You can give little bit of knowledge, but otherwise let the child do on their own. The
Yes.
parents should not intervene. But अरे बच्चे को अगर अच्छा नहीं होगा तो फिर उसका ग्रेड कम हो जाएगा
सबको
एंड
A
उसके
plus
दूसरे
grade
फ्रेंड्स
चाहिए,
बोलेंगे
A+.
कि अरे ये तूने क्या बनाया है. So when the parent gets into this kind of a mode, they are not allowing the child to grow. They are not allowing the child to learn.
Yes.
They are not allowing the child to become good problem solvers.
Yes. I remember when we were growing up, I mean, even the calculator was a luxury in those days.
Yeah.
My father had taught me, multiplication and addition in the air. Deepak, ye 10 iske upar 1, iske upar 0. And still today, we add and multiply in the air. Just khayal mein karte hain. Today,
Correct.
I mean, you walk to a mall or a showroom or somewhere, 40 plus 20 ke liye wo log calculator dalte hain. 60. Okay. Well, at some level, we are losing it. I don't know how this will get
Yeah.
rectified. It'll probably come with experience. Yeah.
Because of these smartphones, what is happening? We don't even remember our spouse's number, our family's numbers.
Exactly.
In our childhood days, we used to remember all the landlines. बाजू वाले का नंबर, दूध वाले का नंबर, किराने वाले का नंबर, इस्त्री वाले का नंबर, फ्रेंड का नंबर, आंटी का नंबर, सबका नंबर.
Yes, everything we forgotten.
But we have absolutely forgotten because of the smartphones.
Yes. Smartphone has made up dumb people and probably dumb parents also.
Yeah.
So if you today, let's say I was the Prime Minister of India and I told you, Bijal, think radically and totally different and design something new for our children, what would you do? I mean,
as rightly you said, bringing the Gurukul system, that was amazing.
yeah.
And I think there are some schools like, Jiddu Krishnamurti schools, which are there in Pune and I think in Bangalore. I think they are following this really well.
Yes.
So I think I would also support that kind of a system, Gurukul system, and making academics and activities as a very, very important part of the curriculum. Nothing should be sidelined, neither the academics nor the activities,
Yes.
And bringing in the best of the talents. Say, if I want to teach chess, I will bring the best of the talent who can teach chess to our children,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
bringing the experts, having the Gurukul kind of a system.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. And according to me, frankly, as a parent, I have a grown-up son who is 22 years old. And I touch wood, by God's grace, I've done a very different parenting. I got that opportunity to implement a very unique parenting. I can see that, how different he stands,
Yeah.
So I would love to, educate the parents
Yes.
for how to have unique parenting.
Yes.
In fact, by one of the organizations, I was labeled, if you want to have a child, if you want to have a designer baby, you should go to Bijal.
Designer baby, yeah. I mean, what is coming next really? Probably a few years down the line in the womb, through scientific or DNA splicing or some other methods, we will actually be able to design an upcoming engineer or an architect or a lawyer or whatever, new professions come up in the future.
Right.
One last question before I open up for the audience. Yes, Indiran has raised his hand and I will give you that chance. With the coming of AI and ChatGPT and all these other opportunities that are there now, for people like us, it makes sense. For children, I think it is making them even and more dumb. The idea of being able to rationalize something, to think, to solve a problem. Here at the set, at the press of a button, you can generate a book, a textbook, forget solving a problem. Your views on that?
Children should be absolutely, they should not be getting this exposure. They should be abandoned from this.
Yeah.
They should not be, because otherwise the children are going to go from bad to worst.
Yes.
It's, the more and more, forget jobs. They won't even get into the jobs. They will get into unemployment.
Yes.
So that is going to be very depressive for them in long future.
Yeah.
उनका फ्यूचर क्या होगा, दैट इज क्वाइट अ जिटर वी आर गेटिंग,
Yeah.
दैट ये बच्चे क्या करेंगे लाइफ में आगे.
Exactly.
Because
Okay.
ultimately, I'll tell you, morning till evening, what are we doing? We are doing problem shooting
Yes.
because we are having that intrapersonal intelligence very very high in us. The
Yeah.
moment we have a problem, we
Yes.
know how to solve it.
Clearly.
We
Yes.
don't get into depression, we don't
Yes.
get into frustration, but these
Yes.
children very quickly get into frustration.
Yeah.
And that is the reason we keep hearing these lot of suicidal cases, lot of depressive tendencies in children.
Yeah.
So it is quite alarming, sir. It is really alarming.
Yes, yes, yes. Obviously, every crowd has a silver lining. 15 years ago, when Google came up, everybody said people will, copy from Google and paste and exams and this and that will happen. We all learned, experimented, understood, grew up, and then, we've reached a point where at the press of a button, AI is ready to help us. But,
Yeah.
this discussion can keep on going till the cows come home. But let's bring in the audience. Indiran, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. My name is
Hi.
Indran. So I was listening to you since beginning. I have a little. I also was. I am from 80s kid. Okay, I used to remember all my phone number, all my relative,
Yes.
everyone's phone number. Okay,
Yes,
I was
yes,
assuming that that is an important memory. Okay, but
yes.
now recently. During the conversation with one of the youngest generation, they said uh, uh, instead of when the phone is by touching the name, it is giving the person's number. Why do we waste in storing the number in your brain? You can use that time and space for something else. Why are you
Yes,
feeling that that is the most important stuff?
yes,
That is just a number. See,
yes.
that is a generation now.
Yeah,
So after that, I started feeling okay. So we need to adapt ourselves, right, to the youngest
yes,
generation.
yes,
Very recently, I used to feel proud that my daughter, I have a 13-year-old daughter. She used to remember the everyone's phone number
yes,
by memory, and she is a
yes,
very good memory. She has a very good memory. I used to
yes,
feel proud, and after some recently, after I heard the conversation, I felt no, we need to change ourselves. We need to adapt. We need to
yes,
use that. And with
yes.
respect to AI, I am not good at English. Okay, so I am a Tamil medium student. I am from Chennai, basically. I came from the very poor family. Okay, so 3 times I went for a spoken English class
Oh,
to speak in front of you to
yeah.
communicate like this. Okay,
Hmm.
then till now I feel uncomfortable sometimes while writing an email for the whole organization. I'm from HR. I need to communicate to all the employees sometimes.
Yes.
So now AI Copilot is helping me. It is just a matter of second. It is supporting me.
Yes.
I just need to ask the right question. It is giving me
Yeah.
the right answer. I just need to
Yes.
quickly modify. So I
Yeah.
think we recently had a session with our coach Yukti also. She told we need to use the AI to empower us. We should not
Yes.
100% depend on AI. That's what.
Yes.
Yeah, there are certain emotional values and all. It can only human can take a decision.
Yes.
Strategies
Yes.
can be applied by human.
Yes.
We can use technology for the help to achieve our goal. So this is
Yes.
uh, the thought I wanted to share it with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Indiran, for sharing those thoughts. I have always told people AI will replace those who don't use AI. So it's not that you don't want to use AI. You want to use it in the best possible way to enhance your capabilities, not outsource everything to it and tell you do this for me. I want to go to the next level. I will use AI. Brigadier Basin, please go ahead and share your thoughts.
So I have a lots and lots to say, and I don't know how I can say it in very few minutes. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk something about Bloom. It is for the years of Payal, Deepak, Abhijit. When Deepak started with that we haven't missed a single Sunday and all that. There's a question which always comes because I'm also a very strong family member of Bloom. And the question that always has come to us is that why, when we do give so much of value, why do we get only about 10, 15 people? And why
Yes.
can't we expand this? And this has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
And we all four of us basically have gone through a guy called Sam Cotton who says, be faithful to the small, the big will
And the
follow.
big will come. Yes.
And so therefore, yesterday I heard a story from Sister Shivani, and many of us must have heard the story that there was a sparrow, एक चिड़िया थी, उसने देखा कि जंगल में आग लग गई है. So when a forest was on fire, she went to the river, took some water in her beak,
Hmm.
came and put it on the fire.
Wow.
Some people laughed and said, "Aren't you crazy? What are you going to do? Are you can a forest of fire be put off just by your little water?"
Yeah.
So she said something which I want everyone in Bloom to understand.
Hmm.
Rather, we should all remember this.
Hmm.
She said, when history will be written, there'll be three types of people. One
Yeah.
will be जिन्होंने आग लगाई थी, who set fire to the.
Yeah.
The second category of people will be who watched the fire.
Hmm.
And the third will be the category of people who did something about it.
That was the fact.
Bloom is in the third category, that with the little effort of bringing people from all over, no, even a speaker like Bijal will say, "Oh, I've invested 1 hour of my time just to talk to 10 people." But you don't know that these 10 people also, there could be one important person who can carry your message across.
Yes.
Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to say to Bloom. Please continue doing that Chidiya ka kaam. We are doing, even if we are doing small, but we are doing good. And when I went to Bali, there's a lady there in one of the speakers, and she runs her orphanage. And there was a song, and I'm telling you, the song is very good. I'll put it in the chat also. So all the children were singing, and she made all the audience also sing that song. And it was, the words were, I cannot give all, sorry, just a minute. I can't do all the good that the world needs.
Yeah.
I can't do all the good that the world needs, but all the good I can do, the world needs.
World needs. Yes, indeed. Yes.
So जो हम कर सकते हैं वो करते रहना चाहिए.
Bilkul.
So that is one. Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of things, there were very, very interesting things. And for everything, because I have been into the world of education for 20 years and I've done all this, anything other than academics. All I've done is anything other than academics. So I've also gone to schools and said that you people who do only academics, give your children to us. And in a place like Bombay, when I took people to my camp, if I made them do gardening, I mean,
Yeah.
people didn't even know. Children in Bombay have never touched soil.
Yes.
मिट्टी को हाथ नहीं लगाया उन्होंने. They used to be
Yeah.
so thrilled about it. They
Yes.
did not know that the milk comes from a cow. I used to take them to a dairy farm and they used to see milking of a cow, and children used to feel that they only knew that the milk comes in packets.
Yeah.
People did not know that the carrot and the radish are a root which grows
Mm.
under the ground, and
Yeah.
tomatoes is a thing which grows over the ground. They didn't know this. They saw it. जब उन्होंने खुद बनाया,
Yeah.
खुद उन्होंने plant किया. We used to
Yeah.
have school wise, we used to put a board there, planted by so and so. And then some schools would come and see that the other school which planted the seed was now growing, and they cut out that fruit and we used to make them cook it.
Yeah.
So we made them do lots and lots of things. You know, we used to take them to a farm where, for example, there's fruit growing, a lot of fruit farm was there.
Yeah.
They saw pineapple growing, and I've seen children running to their teacher and say, "Miss, do you know this is a pineapple because it looks like a thorny bush?" And you can't imagine, and some of the teachers confess that even they never knew how a pineapple grows.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
saying this type of experiential learning, and then I've done teachers training on NEP 2020. I know what
Mm.
it means deeply because I've gone into details of NEP 2020. I've done about 300 principals trainings, teachers training, parents trainings, and I've handled my book Design Your Life was based on the I think more than 2 lakh children that have gone through my camps and all that. So I've experienced all this. What I wanted to say was I am in touch with Bijal only because I just like the type of work she did. She was exactly doing something on the same lines as mine, and she's not spoken much about it. But basically, her activity center is that children who come back from school and they don't have facilities around their house. I've been to her, of course, this is the third campus she's got now, and every time I've seen an improvement. The music, वहाँ तबले भी पड़े हैं वहाँ पे, everything, poetry, एक poetry की class, एक French की class चल रही है. So people are doing different things which are experiential, which are, it is so good to supplement. So what she rightly said, you're supplementing the academic knowledge. You are not
Yeah.
replacing it. Nobody's
Yeah.
replacing it.
Yeah.
So that is one important thing.
Yeah.
Now it was about potential, and I'm telling you, I've done a lot of work on this, and I don't have so much of time to tell you, but there are biometrics where you can even do by fingerprints. It is I don't believe in it. I like what Bijal also saying. It's not successful. People are now not even believing it. But when I went to Dubai for a conference recently, there was a lady who was talking about a similar thing in in UK, which they said is doing very well there. But I don't know. We have been also, I'm certified in that. I'm a certified, what do you call, analyst and a certified, what is the other, there are two terms there. So I've got both the certificates on extended disc, which is the 4 types of personalities you have in, DISC disc. So there also you can get to know the personality of a person and all that. But I put a question mark there in when Bijal says that because I knew my son is very creative, and when somebody says I said bullshit, you think that and there are many parents. Bijal may have been one person who probably I'll say tukka chal gaya. In the sense, we as parents are not equipped to really find out the potential of our child. My son used to cook in class 6 and we thought he should become a chef, but he didn't. That it remains his hobby till now. So sometimes when parents say that you are good at this, so I'll put you in this system, may not be correct. You have to do a lot of identifying the child's, 2, 3 things. What is their curiosity? What type of questions they ask? What is the type of thing they love and enjoy? And that is what you have to develop. You have to work on the child and not your bias. Not your bias, because my experience is this. If I have 2 children, my both children need a different treatment. So if one child is like a monkey and the other child is like a fish, I can't tell the fish that you must climb the tree as well.
Climb the same tree. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what we are doing in our academic
Yes.
system, that everyone is doing everything.
Yeah.
And everyone is not designed to do it.
Yeah.
So Azim Premji says that the parents of a rabbit were very upset that the rabbit is not swimming. So they put him to tuition. And he still couldn't swim. So they were very upset कि उसको तो अभी भी swimming नहीं आई. तो सुबह शाम दो tuition लग गया. They still couldn't do it. But the rabbit, in all this effort of the parents pushing him into swimming, forgot how to hop. So he says, जब rabbit की strength hopping है तो उससे hopping कराओ ना, उससे swimming क्यों करा रहे?
Exactly.
And you talk of the 3 idiots. My own son's story is more than that today my son is 40, he's never been to college. I never sent him to college. I given both my children the liberty to enjoy
Yeah.
the freedom of choosing their career.
Mm.
And both of them are doing very well. My son at 40, undergraduate, even till today, his qualification is 12th class pass. Pass means pass. Just scraped through 3rd division. After compartment in 2 subjects. But I can challenge you. You see his podcast. He's done 60 of them now on different subjects. You will be amazed at the knowledge he has.
Yeah,
And it'll remain a mystery of my life. How did he pick up this knowledge?
yeah,
जिसको हम इतना नालायक बोलते थे, I'm scared of talking to him. All my degrees and all can go to hell.
yeah.
He corrects me on most things and he says, no, you're wrong. This is correct. So anyway, there's lots to talk about, but it's a very good subject.
Yes.
And you know that one thing which Deepak said, there are pros and cons for everything. None of them will fit for everyone. I only feel, I used to think that a person should go to a specialist. Like I ask a question and somebody asked this, so I picked it up from there. That when your child is unwell, what do you do? So you take him to the doctor.
Yes.
Why don't you give him medicine yourself? You
Yeah,
say, I'm not trained to do it.
yeah.
Okay. But then how are you trained to counsel your child? Every parent seems to be telling his child ki tu architect ban ja, tu CA ban ja. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not trained to give medicine to your child,
Yes.
how the hell are you trained to give that person
Yeah.
knowledge? My daughter wanted to do something when she was in college, and my wife was telling her something on the phone. She was in Delhi University then. So after the phone was over, I said, you were in Delhi University more than 25 years ago. What are you telling her to do? She knows more than you. Let her be on her own. She will know what is happening today. You're talking of 25 years old trends. A lot of
Yeah.
people come to me and say, I want to join the army. Can you help me? I said, I went for my services selection board in 1966.
Yeah.
What relevance will it have today if I tell you what happened then? So I never tell them anything. I say,
Yeah.
you have to go to somebody who's doing it now. So the
Yeah.
point is, it is a complex system. You have to understand what is good for you. What
Yeah.
is good for you may not be good for somebody else.
Yes.
And you have to be in it, be involved. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brigadier Sir. We are way beyond our scheduled time. It is 1:45 on a Sunday afternoon.
Because Deepak, you in your timing, you give it to the audience only at 1:28 and then start talking about lunch. So you should, in your time planning now, finish at 1:20 or 1:15. Then only can the audience get. Otherwise, that's a dialogue between two people that goes on.
When you are in the flow, in that mood of asking questions, and all your great
Then what
nature
happens
is
to
then.
my flow? Then what happens to my flow? You are saying only Deepak and Abhijit are allowed a flow. Nobody else is allowed a flow.
And before Amit, comes up with his usual gaane wala thing, before we close, let us sing.
Today I have one more thing to tell.
Bol Amit.
हाँ, अपना ब्रिगेडियर साहब ने इंग्लिश में जो गाना गाया, अपना हिंदी वर्जन भी है उसका.
हाँ.
कर्म किए जा, फल की
वो
चिंता मत कर.
वो
तो
नहीं,
गीता
वो अलग
ज्ञान
है.
वो तो गीता ज्ञान है.
नहीं, वो
लेकिन
गीता ज्ञान है. इसका
एक रेलेवेंट गाना गाते हैं बच्चों के लिए जो बड़े हो जाते हैं. पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि उसकी मंजिल है कहाँ. Pile over to you for officially closing.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much, Bijal, for being there. And it was lovely listening to you. I have a question, but I'll take it offline. Thank you, dear audiences, for removing time. Thank you, Brigadier Sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Deepak Sir, for lovely hosting. And see you all for the 234th talk show next Sunday. God bless us all.
Yes, Amit.
Okay, listen, just a minute. I just found the exact words. I was going a little fumbling there.
Yeah.
You want to write down this. I cannot do all the good that the world needs. But the world needs all the good that I can
do. Wonderful.
And this is different from what Amit is saying.
Yes,
lovely.
wonderful.
I had a suggestion, Deepak ji.
Yes, bolo.
Why can't we have one session from Brigadier only on this subject itself?
We'll do that too. We'll do a joint
We'll
Bijal
do a
and
master
Brigadier.
class. Yes.
Bijal and Brigadier, B&B master class.
Thank you for considering it.
Thank you, everybody, for
Thank
joining
you.
in and staying on till this time. Thank you, everybody. See you next Sunday on the 234th non-stop Sunday Bloom Talk Show. Till then, God bless us all.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for
Bijal.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.